Hey everyone, we are back with another Hearthstone video, and today we are reviewing all of the mage cards from the Lost City of Angora expansion. So all of these new cards has been released, and we are going to test it out in the next week in theory crafting. So the Mage quest is a pretty insane one, but it is not as good as the Warrior and the Deadlight ones. It reads 1 mana quest, so it starts in as the leftmost card in your hand. Quest, discover 8 cards and reward the origin stone. So discovering 8 cards is not really hard for mage since the mage has most of the discover cards, and the reward is this 3 mana 0/8 weapon. After you discover a card, displace the other options. Lose 1 durability. So this card is pretty sick. Like, if you can manage to survive until you get this, you will probably have some RNG involved in your late game. So I don't know if this is a win condition. Seeing all of the other quests, I think that this is a pretty bad one. Considering that you won't even have to. You won't even have the option to target the spells you have taken. So this quest is pretty much might be an archetype, might be a fun deck, but I don't think it will impact the meta in any way. So the next card of the Mage Legendary is the Titanographer Osk. 7 mana 7/7 gains a random Titan ability in your hand that changes each turn. So if you remember from the Titans list that has been rotated this year, the Titans were pretty sick. They were pretty good. They were insane, and all of the battle cries and the text on Titans were pretty strong. But Titanographer Osk doesn't have all the abilities. It does have the abilities, but it doesn't have, like, for example, for Sargeras. For Sargeras the Destroyer, it doesn't open the location. It just have the options to summon a 3/2 from the twist or upgrade it. So that's another example. And so you won't be able to repeat another battle cry. So an average Titan used to cost 7, 8, or 9 mana, and they had the chance to use 3 abilities which are powerful. So but this one has only 1 ability, and some of the abilities are not actually really good. Like, enemy cards cost 1 more next turn. This is from the Mage Titan, and it reads that in the original Mage Titan, whenever this minion uses an ability, the rest of the abilities are doubled. So this won't be able to do any of the doubling stuff yet. So I think that this is not a really good card, but it will be fun to play. So moving on with the epics. So 3 mana 2/2. Conjured Bookkeeper. Dreadrattle, draw a spell. So this is an epic elemental, and the Kindred is the new keyword that is introduced in this expansion. You just need to play an elemental prior to this turn, so you will get a bonus. It means that, like, if you play an elemental, summon a copy of this. It's a simplified version. So this is a 3 mana, draw 2 spells, and a 4/4 body if you have played an elemental before. So this is a pretty good card for all of the elemental mage archetypes. This is a pretty good card since we have all of the fire spells in our deck. This is a pretty good card for tutoring, and Tutor Stone is back. We are drawing all of the spells, all of the minions that we need, and these are all specific draws. This is not really good for the well-being of Hearthstone, but it is what they have been doing for the last 2 or 3 expansions, so it's fine, I guess. So I give this card out of 5, 4, a solid 4 or 3 in standard and a 2 in wild. mainly because there will be some really good synergies and in the elemental mage archetypes. So moving on with the next card. 2 mana unauthored artifacts. Summon a random 2 cost minion. If you have discovered this turn, summon a random 4 cost minion instead. So if you are looking at the start, it is not good. Like you are paying 2 mana to summon a random 2 cost minion, which generally is not worth it. Because 2 cost minions might have some battle cry on it, so it will not, you will waste your mana on that. But if you have discovered this turn, summon a random 4 cost minion. So this is a pretty great mana cheat, but 4 cost minions are, random generated 4 cost minions are not always worth giving 2 mana. So this card instead always could go into the quest archetypes because we are all wanting to discover, and this is going to come with a bonus. So this could go into the discover archetypes, but I don't think this card sees play even in the discover archetype because we don't need to summon a focus random focus minion. We have lots of discovering, we have lots of card generation. We don't need to summon a random focus minion, and it doesn't contribute to the quest itself. You don't discover a card. So I am going to give this card 2 out of 5 in standard and 1 out of 5 in wild, mainly because there is no similar synergies in the both standards. Going on with the next card, Wake of Kings. 7 mana spell. Discover a spell from any class that costs 8 or more, it costs 1. So this is pretty similar to the Final Frontier spell that is from Druid class. It says discover 10 cost minion from the past, set it cost 1. And this one is pretty much similar. It is again 7 mana, and you can discover a spell from any class that costs 8 or more, it costs 1. So the 8 cost spells are not really good. The 8, 9, 10 cost spells pools are not really good. You can see it here. Wheel of Death could be really great, like Mage playing Wheel of Death. It could be a great way to see. Tsunami might be one of the good ones. The Wolf Planet could be a pretty good both swing and face damage. But all of the rest are pretty much dog shit. So, like, you could get a Sleep Under the Stars, which is a fine card. But all of the rest are pretty bad cards. Like, Typhoon is one of the worst removals that the Hearthstone history has seen. It's 10 mana. This is one of the worst cards that a Shaman has. It's the Shaman card. So I am not going to give this card a high rating because it is not going to see play because it is not soft mana, and we want to discover fast if we want to get our quest reward fast. So I am going to give this card a 2 out of 5 in standard and 2 out of 5 in wild. We might see some synergies, but I don't think it is going to happen. Moving on with the next rare card, 2 mana arcane spell, Storage Scuffle. Deal 3 damage to a minion. Cost 0 if you have discovered this turn. So this is also a synergetic card with the Discover archetype that the Mage is going to get this expansion. But yeah, it is similar to the I-Beam of Demon Hunter. Like 3 mana deal 3 damage to a minion. Lifesteal costs 1 if it is the outmost card in your hand. So yeah, it was a pretty decent card, but I think that this is going to be pretty bad because 3 mana deal 3 damage to a minion just sucks. And if you have discovered this turn, you don't need to deal 3 damage to a minion if you have RNG, Frostbolt, or RNG lots of cards. You don't need to play this card in an archetype like Quest Mage. You don't need to. We want to run as much as discover cards as we can because we want to get it fast and we want to also get the value out of it after we get the quest reward. So I give this card a 2 out of 5 in wild and standard, because I don't know, it might see some play, but I don't think it is very synergetic with the archetype itself. Going on with another story of Waygate, reduce the cost of cards in your hand that didn't start in your deck by 1. So this is also another supportive card for the Discover archetype, because you are discovering and then reducing all of the cards. So you could actually get a mana cheat out of this card, but I don't think this card still sees play, because we most of the time won't play the things that we have discovered. We are just going to we just want to discover them and get our quest reward and win the game with the quest reward and of the other options that we have discovered. So we don't want to actually play the cards that we have discovered. So Story of Barricade is still synergetic with the archetype, but I don't think doesn't see a lot of play because it doesn't fit exactly in the deck. Going on with then another common card, a wonderful elemental. If the overflow surger 4 mana 4/3, summon a copy of this for each turn you have played an elemental. It would be a really good card if Overflow Surger would remain in the card pool, but this has premium stats, 4 mana 4/5 elemental, and after you summon an elemental, deal 2 damage to around them enemy. So this is a pretty good card for the elemental mage archetype, but I don't think this card might see some play with the future elementals coming to the getting added to the game. But I don't think this card is going to be really impactful for the meta in the current standards. So I am going to give this, but it has a potential. It has lots of potential if the card needed, if the elemental needed is added to the game. I am going to give this card a solid 3 out of 5 in standard and a 4 out of 5 in Violet, because in Violet we have all of those pretty good, pretty insane elementals. So getting on with the second card. Vault Breaker. After you discover a card, reduce its cost by 1. 2 mana 2/2, 2/4. So we have gotten a similar card like this in the past, and it was not played a single time. This is because it is not premium stat. It is 3 mana. You are paying 3 mana to see if you are discovering a card, and like you need to play. You need to discover 3 cards to get the value out of this, and you are still putting this in your deck, and that means that you are going to lose a spot for a pretty good card. So I am going to give this card a 1 out of 5 in standard and 1 out of 5 in wild. This card might see some play because it is kind of synergetic with the quest archetype, quest mage archetype, but it is not really fitting in the standard meta itself. And moving on with the last card of the mage, 1 mana 1/1 Battle Cry, discover a card with cost equal to your remaining mana crystals. So this is also synergetic with the quest archetype because you get to discover a card. It can be neutral or a mage one. It doesn't say a spell or a minion, just a card. So you could even find a location, find a pretty good card out of this, but it is like pretty similar to the Yogg in the Box, pretty similar to the Yogg location that we have got, the 1 mana 2 durability. Spend the rest of your mana crystals, cast the spell equal to that. And it is a pretty bad card in my opinion, and this is going to be also a pretty bad card. But it might see some play in the quest archetype because we are going to need all of the discoveries we can have, and we want to make it fast and we want to make it happen before the game ends, obviously. So I am going to give this card a 3 out of 5 in standard and 2 out of 5 in wild. So this is it for the mage, and stay tuned for the Druid class cards that is coming this weekend, and we are going to be also reviewing the Druid class cards, and we will be keeping on with the rest of the reviews that is coming from the hearthstonepvm.com. So stay tuned and hope you enjoyed.